Akashvani, and I'm Anuja Kumar with the midday news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says terrorism in any form, anywhere and for any reason is against humanity. Inaugurates G20 Parliamentary Speakers Summit at Yashobhoomi in New Delhi. Israel warns all civilians of Gaza City to evacuate within next 24 hours. Second flight from Israel to bring Indian nationals today. Female labour force participation rate in India improves to 37%. Notification issued for single-phase assembly election in Mizoram and first-phase poll in Chhattisgarh. Train traffic resumes on the upline of Buxar-Arrah-Patna rail section in Bihar after 2 days of derailment of Northeast Express. And in ICC Cricket World Cup, New Zealand win the toss and elect to field against Bangladesh in Chennai. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has underlined that the world full of conflicts and confrontations cannot benefit anyone, and this is a time of peace and brotherhood. Inaugurating the 9th G20 Parliamentary Speakers Summit, P20, at Yashobhoomi in New Delhi today, he said a divided world cannot provide solutions to the challenges present before it. Highlighting concern over terrorism, Mr. Modi said terrorism in any form, anywhere and for any reason is against humanity. He also recalled the terrorist attack on the Parliament building in 2001.
भारत दशकों से क्रॉस बॉर्डर टेररिज्म का सामना कर रहा है। आतंकवादियों ने भारत में हजारों निर्दोषों की जान ली है। संसद के नए भवन के पास ही आपको भारत की पुरानी संसद भी दिखाई देगी। करीब 20 साल पहले आतंकवादियों ने हमारी संसद को भी निशाना बनाया था। भारत ऐसी अनेकों आतंकी वारदातों से निपटते हुए आज यहाँ पहुंचा है।
Underlining the age-old democratic legacy of India, Mr. Modi said the country is the largest democracy in the world with a rich history of democratic institutions.
P20 समिट उस भारत भूमि पर हो रही है जो मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी है, जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी डेमोक्रेसी है। दुनिया की विभिन्न पार्लियामेंट्स के प्रतिनिधि के तौर पर आप जानते हैं कि पार्लियामेंट्स डिबेट और डेलिब्रेशंस का महत्वपूर्ण स्थान होती है। हमारे यहाँ हजारों वर्ष पहले भी डिबेट्स और डेलिब्रेशंस के बहुत ही सटीक उदाहरण है।
The Prime Minister highlighted the role of Sabha and Samiti in the country's rich democratic history, saying people used to take collective decisions in these institutions. He said India not only conducts the world's largest elections, but the people's participation in it is also continuously increasing.
ये समिट एक प्रकार से दुनिया भर की अलग-अलग पार्लियामेंट्री प्रैक्टिसेस का महाकुंभ है। आप सभी डेलीगेट्स अलग-अलग पार्लियामेंट्स की कार्यशैली के अनुभवी हैं। आपका इतने समृद्ध लोकतांत्रिक अनुभवों के साथ भारत आना हम सभी के लिए बहुत सुखद है।
Addressing the delegates, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla said the 9th P20 summit represents commitment towards efforts to preserve democratic values, international cooperation and finding solutions to the issues of global importance and current challenges.
P20 वैश्विक गवर्नेंस का एक महत्वपूर्ण संसदीय आयाम है जो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय प्रतिबद्धताओं के लिए संसदों के बीच सहयोग को प्रोत्साहित करता है। जिन महत्वपूर्ण विषयों पर चर्चा होगी वो चर्चा हमारी संसदों के अंदर भी आगे चलती रहे। इन विषयों पर व्यापक मंथन के बाद नीतियों एवं योजनाओं तथा आवश्यक होने पर कानून का निर्माण भी करें।
Our correspondent reports that the two-day event is being organized on the theme of Parliaments for One Earth, One Family, One Future. As Israel continues to conduct relentless airstrikes on the Gaza Strip, its military has informed the United Nations that the entire population in northern Gaza should evacuate and relocate to southern Gaza within the next 24 hours. Immediately, UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric told this to a news channel. According to the UN, there are about 1.1 million people that live in northern Gaza. Israeli military directly addressed Gaza City residents, telling them to leave for their safety and protection. The warning comes as Israel is expected to launch a ground offensive into Gaza to crush Hamas. The UN wants the evacuation order taken back, stating that it could lead to devastating humanitarian consequences. Prime Minister Netanyahu has formed a new war management cabinet to bolster public trust and to infuse country's wartime leadership with greater military experience. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen will visit Israel today to express solidarity with the victims of Hamas attacks. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reached Jordan today. He is scheduled to meet Jordan's King Abdullah and Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in the capital Amman. Blinken is on an extensive tour of West Asia, which began yesterday with his arrival in Israel. Earlier, Blinken met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Tel Aviv and President Isaac Herzog to extend America's unwavering support to the country. After Jordan, Blinken is expected to visit Qatar, which has long-standing ties with Hamas. The U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has also just arrived in Israel for talks with his Israeli counterpart. Meanwhile, the first flight under Operation Ajay carrying 212 Indian nationals from Israel arrived at Delhi airport this morning. The flight to facilitate the return of Indian citizens from Israel left from the Ben Gurion airport in Tel Aviv on last evening. Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar received the Indian nationals who arrived from Israel.
Today is the first flight of Operation Vijay, and this is completely in keeping with our Prime Minister's vision, Prime Minister's determination that our government, his government, will never leave any Indian behind. Any Indian anywhere in the world that finds himself or herself in harm's way, our government, our Prime Minister is determined to protect them, bring them back home safely, and I'm very glad this plane load of students and Indians have managed to fly back safely.
The Indian Embassy in Israel has already announced a second flight for today and has sent out email registrations to leave on a first-come, first-served basis. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar chaired a meeting to review preparations for Operation Ajay yesterday. MEA spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said India is keeping a close watch on the situation in Israel, which is evolving and dynamic. Mr. Bagchi requested all Indians in Israel to register with the embassy there. This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. The female labour force participation rate in the country has improved significantly by 4.2 percentage points to 37% this year. This was revealed in the data released by the Statistics and Programme Implementation Ministry in its periodic Labour Force Survey Report 2022-23. The Women and Child Development Ministry said the significant jump is due to the government's policy initiatives aimed at long-term socio-economic and political development of women. Notification has been issued for the first phase assembly election in Chhattisgarh and single phase election in Mizoram. With this, the electoral process began for assembly elections in both the states. Our Raipur correspondent reports that filing of nominations has begun in 20 assembly constituencies of Chhattisgarh, going to polls in the first phase. The last date of filing of nomination is 20th of this month. Scrutiny of nominations will take place on 26th, and the last date of withdrawal of nomination will be 23rd of October. Our correspondent reports that in the first phase, total 20 assembly constituencies in the most Maoist-affected region of the state will go to polls on the 7th of November. In Bihar, the rail traffic has resumed on the upline of Deen Dayal Upadhyay Buxar-Arrah-Patna rail section this morning after 33 hours of the derailment of bogies of Northeast Express. 23 bogies of the Guwahati-Kamakhya bound train were derailed near Raghunathpur station in Buxar district on Wednesday evening. The track was declared fit for resumption of rail operation on the upline at 8:10 a.m. after a massive restoration work. We have more from our correspondent.
Chief Public Relations Officer of the Central Railway, Birendra Kumar, said the first train was passed successfully on the restored rail line. He said the work is underway on war footing for restoration of the down line. The CPRO said the rail operation will be normalized slowly. Due to massive damage of tracks, the trains of New Delhi-Patna-Howrah route were diverted on alternative routes of Gaya-Patna and Sasaram-Ara-Patna line. 31 trains have been cancelled by railways. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, Akashvani News, Patna.
In Sikkim, 82 people have been evacuated so far today from Lachen and Pegong to Ringhim helipad in Mangan. These include 29 tourists, 30 local residents and 23 labourers. As part of transportation of essentials, an Indian Air Force helicopter took 2 sorties, landing at Burtuk helipad in Gangtok. In the first sortie, 11 ITBP personnel were transported from Lachung to Gangtok. In these sorties, fresh vegetables and dry ration along with fuel were airlifted from Burtuk helipad to Pegong and Lachung in North Sikkim. Separately, construction of a bamboo suspension footbridge across the Tista River connecting Dijongu in Sangkalang, Mangan district has been completed. Delhi Sikh Gurudwara Management Committee felicitated Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi today. Addressing the gathering, Mr. Shah said, be it India's freedom struggle, fight against Mughals or fight against Britishers, partition or sacrificing for the country, Sikh community has always been on number one. He said the whole world today is following the teachings given by Guru Nanak Dev at a time when all religions were fighting for their respective sects.
सिख पंथ से निकली हुई मातृशक्ति ने न केवल आजादी के आंदोलनों में हिस्सा लिया, देश को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए भी बहुत बड़ा काम किया है। भारत की आजादी का आंदोलन हो, मुगलों के सामने की लड़ाई हो, चाहे अंग्रेजों के खिलाफ लड़ाई हो, पार्टीशन की विभीषिका हो या आजादी के बाद देश की सीमाओं को सुरक्षित करने के लिए अपना बलिदान देना हो, सिख कौम ने पहला नंबर किसी और को लेने नहीं दिया। हमेशा सिख पंथ इसमें पहले नंबर पर।
The Home Minister said under Citizenship Amendment Act, Prime Minister Narendra Modi gave citizenship to those Sikh brothers who wanted to come to India from Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan. Prominent journalist K.S. Sachidanand Murthy has passed away in Bengaluru today. Being one of the most famous journalists from the national capital of Delhi, Sachidanand Murthy had served as the resident editor of Malayalam, Manorama and The Week. In his illustrious career as a journalist, he had also served as the General Secretary of the Editors Guild of India and also as a member of the Press Council. National Cinema Day is being celebrated today. It aims to celebrate the magic of the big screen and applaud the success of recent blockbusters. More than 4,000 screens all over the country are participating to celebrate the day. Film buffs can buy tickets all over the country at just 99 rupees. Last year, Cinema Day was organized on 23rd of September. Established by the Multiplex Association of India, it encourages audiences to come back to cinema halls after a long lull caused by COVID-19 pandemic and the rise of the over-the-top OTT platforms. Hollywood actor and producer Michael Douglas will be conferred with the Satyajit Ray Excellence in Film Lifetime Award at the 54th International Film Festival in Goa. It was announced by Anurag Singh Thakur. In ICC Cricket World Cup, Bangladesh were 10 for 1 wickets in 2 overs in Chennai when reports last came in. New Zealand have won the toss and decided to field. The Chipok track is known for being low and slow, with spinners getting a lot of assistance. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says terrorism in any form, anywhere, for any reason is against humanity. Inaugurates G20 Parliamentary Speakers Summit at Yashobhoomi in New Delhi. Israel warns all civilians of Gaza City to evacuate within next 24 hours. Second flight from Israel to bring Indian nationals today. Female labour force participation rate in India improves to 37%. Notification issued for single-phase assembly election in Mizoram and first-phase poll in Chhattisgarh. And in ICC Cricket World Cup, New Zealand win the toss and elect to field against Bangladesh in Chennai. And with that, we end the midday news.
नमस्कार। दोपहर समाचार